So, which one of the simplest powered mechanisms?
A motor.
A motor, yeah, a motor attached to a shaft. Yeah, so have you guys seen our 2017 robot before?
Yeah.
No, okay. So this robot's extremely simple. So, do you know the 2017 game? Yeah.
Yeah.
hmm Remember how they had to like climb at the end?
Yeah.
Yeah. So basically, to climb, they had a reverse planetary directly coupled to a shaft,
Oh.
and then they had Velcro on the shaft,
Oh.
and then the rope stuck to the Velcro. So they just go up to the rope and spin this Velcro shaft, and then they would climb. And then there's another directly driven motor down here. It's not shown in this picture, but it had a bunch of wheels on it, and it was directly coupled to a motor, and it would spin, and it would take balls. And then this was for gears, and it had two pneumatic actuators, and that was the whole robot. Sweet. Yes. Okay. Cool. So, like I said, we're not going over much today, but we'll just practice some stuff. So how much force do you have to push down with here to lift the block?
25 pounds.
Nice. Good. Why 25 pounds?
Because 100 times 1 is still 100.
Mm-hmm.
So, and you're 4 feet away, so you need to have one. Well, you need 100 inch or foot-pounds of torque. So.
Yep.
4 times 20.
Yep. Exactly. Nice. Good. Perfect. So we're going to talk a little bit about reductions. Before we do that, let's do torque calculations with this, because we are all on the torque calculations. So the first sprocket there has a 1 inch radius. The sprocket there has 4 inch radius. What if you put a 6.25 inch-pound torque into the first gear? What is the force applied to the chain?
12.5.
Close. What's the radius of this chain? Of this?
1/2.
What's the radius?
Oh,
Radius
that's
is just
not
one.
diameter.
Yeah.
Radius is just
It's just 6.25.
Yeah. Does that make sense, Trinity?
Oh yeah.
No?
No.
Torque equals force times length, so
You just take the radius and
Should
multiply
have
it
got
by.
notebooks that could take notes.
Do you have access to the Google Slides?
You don't need notes.
Oh,
just,
yeah.
just
Fine. You
just-
follow along.
you look at the
there's
previous.
homework at the end that
Yeah,
you
just
learn.
Wait, okay. What is torque?
Force times length.
Alright.
Earth.
So it's force times the distance from the pivot. So here, the distance from the pivot is 1 inch, because it's pivoting about the center of this, and the radius is 1, right? Here, look. Right? Okay. Right? So the distance from the pivot is 1 inch, and torque is 6.25 inch-pounds. Okay. So 6.2, so torque equals force times distance.
Mm-hmm.
And so we're solving for force, right? So
So you would,
thank you. Yeah.
so you would take the torque and divide it by the length to figure out force, basically. Okay.
You actually don't even need to remember the equation. You can just look at here, and it says inch-pounds, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and we want to get pounds, right?
Mm-hmm.
So what do we have to divide by to get pounds?
Inches?
Yeah.
Oh,
Great.
yay.
Yeah. Okay, good. So you guys, what was the force again?
6.25.
Right. What's the torque on the output shaft? So what's the torque here? If this is pulling with 6.25 pounds, and this has a radius of 4,
25.
what's the torque?
25 inch pounds.
Yeah, that's right. Cool.
Mental math.
Yay. Good. So what's the reduction here?
1/4.
Cool. Sweet. Okay. Let's do this again, but this time let's do it with a 2-inch radius sprocket. So again, 6.25 inch-pound input. What's the force on the chain now? Trinity, what's the force on the chain?
Hold on.
Or you can just tell me what calculation you want to do.
Yeah.
Wait, so it's torque divided by length?
Mhm.
Okay.
So what's the torque?
6.25.
Inch pounds, yeah. Divided by
Mm-hmm. 2?
2 inches, yeah. So 3.125
Oh, okay. I
pounds.
get it now.
Yep. So we just increased the radius of the sprocket, and what happened to the force?
It's bigger. Wait, no, smaller.
Nice, good. Awesome, good job. What's the torque on the output now?
So, that's 12 and a half.
So what's the reduction?
Oh, 1/2.
Just 1/2.
Or 2, yeah.
Yeah.
Good. All right. So for reductions, Trinity, have you heard of reductions before?
Yeah.
Okay. Do you know what a 30-time reduction means?
No.
It means, I'll give you a hint. If you put in a 1 foot-pound torque, what torque would you get out from a 30-time reduction?
Wait, so it's 30,000. Wait. Can you repeat that?
The torque is 30 foot-pounds,
Mm-hmm.
and the reduction is, the torque is 1 foot-pound, and the reduction is 30 to 1.
So it's 1 by 30?
Good guess. It's the other way around. You multiply by 30
Okay.
for torque. Okay. Let's say it's spinning. Let's say the input's spinning at 30,000 RPM. Okay. And you have a 30-time reduction. What's the output speed?
30,000, right? So 900,000.
Just
Okay. Good guess. Good guess.
Okay.
So when the torque goes up, the speed is going to go down.
Oh, RPM speed, that's right.
Yeah.
Oh, wait. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So then you just
1,000.
or 1,000.
Good. Good job.
Oops.
1,000 RPM. So the general lesson is if the reduction is a 30-time reduction, like you have a Bristol planetary with 30-time reduction, the torque is going to be multiplied by 30, and the speed is going to, of the motor, whatever the input is going to be divided by 30. Does that make sense, Trinity?
Kinda.
Kinda? Okay. So let's go here. What was the reduction of this?
2.
Just
2. What's the spacing between the teeth for number 25 chain?
0.25 inches.
Good job. You're killing it. And so one thing to note here is the reduction is 2, right? Because the radius of that sprocket is twice as big as the radius of this one, and through torque it ends up working out that way, right? What's the relationship between the radius and the diameter?
raised half of the
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, the circumference and the radius.
Oh.
2 pi r.
Yeah. Is that a linear relationship, a quadratic, an exponential?
Just.
Well, it's linear because you're only multiplying.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, in engineering we actually care about like what type of relationship because we can generalize it. If it's linear, we can just be like, oh, so the circumference is related directly to the radius. So okay, so if I said that this sprocket had 30 teeth, how many teeth did this sprocket have? What's the relationship between the radius and the circumference?
2 pi r.
Mm-hmm.
So you just multiply those.
Uh-huh. And what's the relationship between the circumference and the number of teeth? If you have,
Oh, 0.25.
yeah, so it's gonna be, so the number of teeth is directly related to the circumference, right?
Oh.
So we have a linear relationship and a linear relationship. I know this seems complicated, but this makes things so much easier conceptually when you think of things as linear relationships. So therefore, the radius is going to be directly related to the number of teeth. So if this 2-inch sprocket has 30 teeth, how many teeth does the 4-inch sprocket have?
60.
Yep, exactly. Good. Sweet. Okay, so now we're just going to talk about some random reduction stuff because we haven't made gearboxes and might as well just cover it somewhere, right? So here we have a a gear that has a 20-tooth input and a 30-tooth output. Okay. What's the reduction here?
3 over 2.
Great, perfect. Yep, 3 to 2, 1.5, 3 over 2. Yep, all the same. Good. And notice here, if this the 20-tooth gear spins this direction, what way does the output gear spin?
The opposite direction.
Yeah, because this tooth is going to come down, right? And it's going to hit this tooth, and it's going to cause it to spin this way. And this, so this one spins this way, and this one spins this way. Okay, cool. So let's go to the chain here. So if the input sprocket spins this way, which way is the output sprocket going to spin?
Same way.
Yeah, same way. Sometimes people refer to the chain as a third gear, and we'll see why in just a second. So here, let's say we drive the input gear clockwise, so in the negative direction, right? And then which way is the idler going to spin?
It's going to spin to the left.
Yep. So in the positive direction or counterclockwise. And then how about the follower? What direction is the follower going to spin?
Right.
Yeah. So what's the relationship between the spin direction of the input and the output here?
They're the same.
Yeah, they're the same. So if you put an idler in between, you change the direction. So it's the same. What if you put 2 gears in between?
The opposite.
They're just
Yeah.
the opposite.
Exactly. Good.
And that's more reduction with the idler being added. Or, wait, no.
That's a good question. That's in the homework.
Oh, wow.
Kind of. Yeah. You can figure that out when you do the homework. Okay. Here. What's the reduction of this whole system? The whole thing, from the small purple input to the large green output. Trinity, what's the reduction of the 2 purple gears together?
It's okay. Wait, so is it 21 over 7?
Yep.
Oh, so 3?
Yeah. Good.
Oh, I did something.
Good job. Well done. Okay. How about what's the overall reduction? Or actually, before we do that, what's the reduction from the small green gear to the big green gear? Also 3. Yes. Good. Okay. And now what's the reduction from the small gear to the large green gear? Small purple gear to the large green gear.
Just 9.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, so basically what ends up happening is, if you think about it as a torque, right? Let's say the input torque is 1 foot-pound or something, right? Then what's the torque on the second shaft?
1.
What's the reduction between the first shaft and the second shaft?
It's 3.
So what's the torque on the second shaft? Speak louder. Would you say?
Is it also 3?
Yes, it is.
Okay, so we multiply.
Right? Because if the reduction is 3, we multiply by the reduction to get the torque multiplication. Okay. Let's say the first shaft is going at 100 RPM. How fast is the second shaft going?
300
Yeah. No.
100 divided by 3.
Yes,
divided by
exactly.
3, which
Good.
is
Yep. Because exactly. For the RPM we divide, for the torque we multiply. Great. So now, sorry, what did we say the torque on the second shaft was?
It's a 1 to 3.
So it's 3 foot-pounds.
Yep, 3 foot-pounds with the input's 1. Yep. And then what's the output shaft's torque?
9 foot-pounds.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, the first one's foot-pounds.
I didn't get to this
I
stuff
thought
till
it was
in
inch
college,
pounds.
so you
Okay.
guys are doing a lot better than me.
Yeah, you guys are doing fine.
Like, trust me.
Even Trinity, who missed the first 2 lectures. Good.
Yay.
Thank you.
Trinity.
Great. So we can use anything. We can use chain and sprockets, we can use gears, we can use belts, all to have a reduction, and it all works basically the same. Okay, great. Yep, that's basically all I have today. So we're going to do a Kahoot.
Oh boy.